Hello, my name's Rajasu. I'll be hosting these next couple of runs, and we have a few donations that just came in. We have $11 from Jellyfish Trifle saying, "Good luck, Sanjan." We have $200 from Dowolf saying, "Comeback?" ? We have $100 from Murish, and we have $50 from Anonymous. So thank you for those. And I believe we are just about ready for our next run, which is Octopath Traveler.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sanjan. You saw me do the Mass Effect opener run. This is obviously the prequel to Mass Effect, right, everyone? Yeah. So this is Octopath Traveler. This is a JRPG by Square Enix. So if without further ado, so this bid war was to pick 1 out of 8 categories that we can do. I do know all 8 of them, yes, but we will pick only 1 of them. So without further ado, what was the category chosen, and what was the language?
So let me just give this a refresh here. So the winner for the starting Traveler was Primrose, and the voice acting language will be Japanese.
All right. Ooh. We get some Primrose Mighty Mouse in the house. All right, so this is a single story Primrose. It's probably one of the more harder categories to start with. There's going to be a lot of like front-loaded RNG all spread all throughout, and the final boss is pretty RNG heavy. And so what a single story is that we start from chapter 1 and we with this character and we complete all 4 chapters to get to the credits. So without further ado, the time starts when I press yes to begin my adventure as Primrose. And before I forget, I'll introduce my couch real quick. So with me on my couch is Sunny Muffin, another fellow speedrunner. Bramhall V, also another fellow speedrunner. And then Jello Knife, who's also a fellow speedrunner and supporter. So without further ado, let's start. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we start off with holding B to skip cutscenes, because that's a very convenient RPG kind of thing. And then we're going to start out here by finding a couple items here. And then I'll let Sunny or Bramwell explain what I'm doing here in the meantime.
Yeah. No, you can go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so this is Primrose is basically her prequel to her chapter 1. Every character in this game has their own set of stories, and we have to complete her 4-chapter story in order to finish the run. So this part is basically just a tutorial to the game. It's an introduction. We're going to get to know Primrose's backstory here a little bit. We're currently in the town of Sunshade, and Primrose is figuring out kind of where her life went wrong. So she's going to be doing some path actions here. Each character in the game.
Yeah, in addition to being introduced to Primrose's character, we're also being introduced to her special ability. She has the ability to seduce people into following her around, and we can actually use them to summon. We can summon these people into battle with us. This one guy coming up here is just for a tutorial, so we can't use him. But we'll be using someone much more useful in a couple of minutes on the first boss.
Yeah, we're going to be using a couple different ones. There's going to be an infamous one coming up kind of soon here. Not right now, but sort of in the future. But the theme of most of these characters, NPCs I'm going to lure is Flurry. Please, Flurry.
Yeah, so Flurry is it's a multi-hit, all-target skill. I mean, when you summon these characters into battle, they basically act of their own free will, and they'll do something randomly. So she can either pointed shot or attack or Flurry. And Flurry is a random 2 to 4 hits on every character on the screen, every enemy on the screen, I should say. And it's quite powerful, especially because of the shield system, which I guess we can explain right away going into our first fight.
Yeah, so we're going to be here on the first battle. This game is basically sort of a turn-based system that uses the break and boost mechanics. And what I did there was just break that lizard and then flee. You can flee without breaking them. It's just you have a chance to fail. And because Primrose is a very squishy character, she doesn't take many hits very well, so I have to be very careful here. And she does in the end, I kind of have like a really long walk up to where I want to go. So I have to be very careful here. This is really unfortunate.
What is happening here?
And I'm getting double encounters. I do not like double encounters,
Yeah,
but we're getting very lucky on the escapes.
Yeah.
On this screen, the first encounter is scripted, but then beyond that, it's going to draw from a pool of possible encounters. We're currently in a ring 1, so like this is a chapter 1 for the character, and we only have one character in the party. So we basically know the encounters that can spawn here, and Sanjan knows which ones are faster to break and which ones are faster just to kind of flee from.
Yeah, so coming up here is the first boss, Helganish. Basically, Helganish is a bad person who basically, does unfavorable things. So Primrose wants to try to kind of take care of him so that she can go and find basically the people that killed her dad. Her story is basically pretty much, very nice.
Good RNG.
All about revenge. So I think Indigo Montoya, I pronounced her name wrongly, but you get the drift. But basically, since I got the lady to flurry, this battle is very easy. Helganish doesn't have much HP.
Yeah, that's basically one off a perfect Helganesh fight. You can just get 3 flurries in a row and it'll take him out, but this is the backup situation here. We have to take an extra turn. Not a big deal, but he's going to go ahead and be felled here, and we're through chapter 1.
And yeah, that's chapter 1 done.
Yeah, notably, Primrose has a very, very short chapter 1, and her utility, being able to allure people, is used in several of the other speedruns.
Also great music.
Yep.
Here's Kit.
Yeah, we're gonna ignore Kid.
We don't need him.
He'll be fine.
He just wants a healing grape, and we're just like, we're not going to give it to him.
We need healing
We need
grapes.
those, yeah. We need the healing grapes more than he does.
Yeah, so basically what makes Primrose's early game pretty dangerous is that we have to make this walk all the way from Sunshade to Atlas Dam, where we want to recruit Cyrus. And she has a really long walk, and she's very squishy. And as you can see, I'm going to get hit for a decent amount of damage by this rolling cactus.
Yeah, I guess this is a good time to mention the step rate that encounters are based on in this game. So you're going to see Sanjan just making her way through these screens, and at a certain point, you're going to get an encounter. It's random, but it's like a range that we know. Before we get an ability called Evasive Maneuvers, we get encounters fairly often. So all of these screens are either 1 or 2 encounter screens with really good movement. So that's kind of one of the things where your skill expression comes into play, is having good overworld movement.
Yeah, so basically, we kind of have a pretty long walk here, so if you want to talk about anything for a little bit, feel free. I'm just going to sit here and try not to survive, or try to survive.
Yeah.
Sure. So for the next couple of runs, we have some exciting incentives and bid wars. You can bid on the names for the characters in Wild Arms, Cecilia, Jack, and Rudy. If you want them to be named differently, get your bids in. We'll also have some incentives for Quest 64 and Dragon Warrior 2 coming up after that. So very exciting stuff.
Now entering fish territory. Very dangerous.
Yeah, so basically from here on, we can't break anything, so we basically have to hope that we get good flea RNG. It's about, for these mobs, more than a 50% chance. We don't know the exact chance since it hasn't really been, kind of examined. We only really know, the percent chance that it takes to kind of, get encounters whenever you have evasive maneuvers.
Sanjan's going to be entering the town of Rippletide here. She's not going to do anything, but we want to have it marked on our map for fast travel later because another character we want to pick up lives here. But it is better to get Cyrus first. So we're not gonna do that yet.
Yeah, it would just take too long to get her at this point in the run.
Yeah, we would. Yeah, there's some pretty strong stuff that we want to grab over in Cyrus's story level.
Oh, double bird.
Double birds. At least it's not double fish. I did not want to see fish or ants.
We're getting pretty good flea rate on this though, which is nice to see.
Yeah. If you thought hoping for good RNG encounters is enough, we've got some grand things coming up in store when we get to Atlas Dam.
Yeah, this is kind of one of the more frustrating parts of running Primrose single story, is making your run all the way to Atlas Dam. You can be on a good pace and be 2 minutes ahead of a bad pace around here just based on complete chance.
Yeah, so I basically have to kind of watch my HP. No, I don't need it. But the nice convenient thing that even if you die, this game has an autosave system where every time you transition through maps, you basically get to autosave. So like dying isn't like the worst thing ever. Since you can just load turn the autosave and then be on your merry way again.
Yeah, it sends you back one screen. It can be punishing if the screen was kind of long, but it's, there's worse. It could end your whole run in some other games, so we'll take it.
Primrose Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, Octopath in general it's a pretty forgiving speed run as far as like JRPGs
I'm
are
gonna
concerned.
heal here just in case.
Yeah, you have the grapes. Might as well use them.
Yeah. There's only one more encounter we take
Meow?
before here.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, what Jack said, meow. There's a 3% chance enemy called the Kate here.
Didn't see one. Sad.
If we get it, we can take an alternate route for Primrose. And it does save like a little bit of time, but it's actually more optimal to get better RNG and get Cyrus early. And get a Kate after we get Cyrus, but...
Yeah, and more importantly, there's going to be a RNG moment coming up here. So Primrose has access to the Allure ability. It's considered a rogue path action, which means that it has a percent chance to fail based on the level of your target. So Sanjan's going to be alluring this Flurry guy right here, and it has a 10% chance to allure.
Oh.
Second try. Let's go.
All right.
That's some marathon luck right there.
So we're going to recruit Cyrus here. You also notice I kind of hybrid keyboard and mouse here. Not keyboard and mouse, keyboard and controller here. It's just mainly preference. Using the keyboard here will help me kind of like menu, kind of like the little story part about Cyrus faster. But we want to grab Cyrus because he's our fastest way to get evasive maneuvers. And would you guys like to explain what evasive maneuvers is while I kill these poor little innocent sentinels?
So, and basically in this game you can teach different abilities. So the one that you would have seen already was called Moonlight Waltz. That was used on the first boss. But as you win battles, you collect job points, which are your ability points, and then you can spend them on new skills. And then as you unlock more and more skills, you can also unlock passive abilities. So the first one for the Scholar class, which Cyrus is a Scholar, is called Evasive Maneuvers, and it's kind of the encounter half skill of the game.
All right, coming up is Russell here. It's not too bad, but it can go very wrong because we want our guard to surprise Flurry.
We like Flurry. It's a good ability.
Flurry does a lot of damage, and the reason why we took that 10% for that guard is that guard deals a lot of damage, like very early on, because at our level right now, we don't have very much in terms of damage.
Oh, sad.
Unfortunate.
Yeah,
If you're going to see an attack, we would rather see it on the boss.
Yeah. So this guard that was allured, though, is a much higher level than our party, so he's
Hey,
actually
there we
really
go.
strong. So you're going to see there each Flurry hitting for about 500, which at this point in the run, we have nothing that hits anywhere near that hard.
And you see it got rid of the little bubbles really quickly, which is good because when they are on the field doing their attacks, it's very slow.
And yeah, that's
Russell.
Russell.
Shoutouts to Flurry guy playing nice.
Yeah. He played nice and, we grabbed him second try, which is actually really good. It's not unheard of for you to take maybe 20 tries or something. I think my worst was around 40 tries.
Yeah, if you fail 5 times, you have to either go back and bribe the bartender to let you allure again, or you can just reload a save, which is what would happen because the autosave's right there.
Yeah, Primrose's route is it has lots of these little RNG components that just kind of add up to a whole mess of a single story speedrun.
All right, so now we're going to grab a soul stone here. That's going to be very important for us. And now that we kind of have our second Cyrus, our main objective is to immediately try to get 130 JP total on Cyrus as fast as possible. And I'm going to teach him Lightning Blast to help grind some encounters. And we want 130 total JP because it teaches us evasive maneuvers. So what evasive maneuvers is it pretty much allows for double the steps before we get an encounter. It's basically our way of exploring the world.
Yeah, what's worth mentioning is that after we finish Primrose's Chapter 1, we could go pretty much anywhere on the map, including late game areas. But obviously if you get into a random encounter that's very difficult to flee from and very strong, it could spell bad news for us very quickly.
This is a good encounter. We like to see these.
Yeah. So right now what we're looking for are like just big value encounters that give lots of JP. This is a pretty good one. Ants, anything with ants in it is nice.
Yeah, especially
Are you
preemptive.
please target the pig? That's fine.
Yeah, preempting this encounter is pretty quick. You do have a chance of either surprising your foe or getting surprised by your foe for every encounter in the game that are not bosses. So,
Also, this is the infamous area, the Whistlewood. Because this is a much higher level area, we're more likely to get ambushed. We want to see worms,
yeah, worms
ideally.
are good.
We can work with anything, but this isn't really ideal. But as long as I don't get ambushed, it's fine. It's plenty workable.
Yeah.
It's actually probably, I think, the lowest JP.
Yeah, it's the lowest JP encounter.
That's unfortunate, but thankfully, Primrose grinding is pretty fast since we have a
we're
Flurry
only-
Man to help us out.
Yeah, so we're only 9 off of where we need to be. So most encounters I think are okay.
Yeah, getting out of Whistlewood that quickly is always something you like to see. That's a pretty good grind so far.
Ideally, I would like to see not double frogs.
Okay. Way to call your shot.
All right, please Flurry.
Yeah, if you flurry, I think you get 9 off of this.
Oh, sad.
Darn.
Yeah, you do get some bonus JP for completing the encounter before the enemies can attack. So you get a little bit of a bonus there. We miss out on it with the double
Yeah,
frog
now we're
encounter.
going to be at 99 JP.
Have to take one
And
more.
now we get to be sad and have to run around for one more encounter.
99.
I love it.
One off. That's okay.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Thankfully, I could also technically go into the Whistlewood
Yeah.
again if I had a really low JP encounter, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah, Primrose is actually one of the only characters that can clear encounters in Whistlewood by herself at this point in the run. By using the Flurry guy, she can do quite a bit of damage. Every other character needs the assistance of a Soul Stone to get JP out of there.
All right, so now that we have evasive maneuvers, we're pretty much free to kind of like explore around. And one of the places we need to go to, I want to learn Firestorm here because it's going to be basically needed for later.
And there's evasive maneuvers.
Yeah, one of the, again, another skill expression part of this game is how quickly you can do the menus. It's a very responsive, very snappy menu system. It feels really, really good to do fast.
And then if you like more RNG, we've got more RNG for you. I got to hit 30% scrutinize and 70% scrutinize within 5 tries. So hopefully Cyrus will do his job. So scrutinize is basically also a rogue path action. Nice first try as well.
There we go.
What is this RNG? What are you doing here?
It's RNG manipulation. You know, chat donated a lot of money, and thanks so much to the chat for donating for the bid war. Like, y'all went in. All right, so now that we have all the items we need, and so we're gonna go grab Tressa, who's the most overpowered character in all of Octopath.
And overpowered in multiple different ways too.
Yeah.
She's a really good character.
Yeah, merchants have access to the skill called Hired Help. She also has other useful skills, but that Hired Help is going to be the one that we mainly use. And if you ever heard of the term pay to win, Octopath is the perfect game for you if you like pay to win games.
Yeah, so we're going to be just kind of making the way through Tressa's Chapter 1 here. This is one of the longer screens found in Chapter 1s. You do wind up getting an encounter here, but we know that we're always going to get one encounter. It's like not that big.
Hey, hang on. No, I think we found out recently that you can skip this encounter.
It's a really rare
Yeah.
chance.
I've seen it once in 3 years.
I've never seen it.
All right, I'm going to get the swag escape. Always.
Oh.
Easy.
Yep. So yeah, the more characters you have in your party, the more difficult, the more frustrating it is to fail an escape because you have to wait for all of your characters to, skip their turn, which is your punishment for trying to escape and failing.
Yeah.
It's always kind of like a risk reward thing.
And if you look in the top, I think left quarter on the screen, this is why Tressa is so good. She just randomly generates money automatically as well.
Yeah, based on the level of the area. So the more higher level areas, you're going to get more money off the ground.
She's stealing money from unfortunate souls. SMH.
One of the really cool things that we're going to see here is the Ring 1, so where you have all the characters Chapter 1s, it's dynamic. So as you get more characters in your party, the encounters get harder and harder. So this is Mick and Mac. With 3 characters, he has roughly triple the amount of HP you would have if it was just Tressa. Hey!
A free first turn kill.
Yeah, you want to see the flurry that enables the quick kill here, and Mick and Mac are gone in one turn.
Yeah, Mac has a little bit more HP than what that Soulstone does to him, so we want to see about 700 extra damage from that guy.
Yeah, so our main form of damage will be hired help, because what hired help does is that you can pay money for summoning a set of soldiers, and we're going to basically pay 30k for veteran soldiers, throw them at bosses, and they basically fall over. And then the other form of damage that we're going to be using, which is very useful for early game, is Soulstones. So as you saw, that L-Stone there did 2,700 base damage, and against an enemy weak to that element, 3,509, and if they're broken, they deal around the 5,400 damage. And that's a lot of damage, because at our level, we are not doing anywhere near that damage.
So I think we called this the exploration part, I believe, or unless... Do we get Therion right away?
No, it's exploration.
Okay,
So
yeah.
Primrose actually weaves in the exploration sections.
Yeah.
It's really it's a fun run to do because it's pretty organic in the order that you do things. So finishing Tressa there puts you right outside of Rippletide, and our next destination is going down to Everhold, which is where Primrose's Chapter 4 takes place. We don't need to go there right now, but there are some very valuable items that we're going to pick up along the way, and notably the Warrior Shrine here.
Yeah, this is going to be the only shrine that we pick up. Warrior Shrine's going to be very useful for some of the fights coming up.
Yeah, so Octopath's job system, you gain access to secondary jobs through visiting the various shrines throughout the world. So this is the Warrior Shrine. It's going to give access to equip one of our characters with the Warrior class. The Warrior class is, as you would expect, it's kind of like a tanky melee style class. It gives the character access to the weapon types that job can use, as well as it gives them some base stats. So like with Warrior, it notably gives them some HP.
Yeah, so now that we're kind of free to explore, as Sonny said, we'll be going to kind of Everhold first. It's a convenient kind of like stop point, because we'll be getting 4 characters. So most of the single story routes have kind of gone through like massive changes, primarily with in respect to the amount of characters you get. Usually it was thought that 4 characters was ideal, but for many of the stories, actually 3 characters is ideal, just because you use less resources getting the 4th character, and just recruiting them is just not convenient. But unfortunately for Primrose, we absolutely need 4 characters, just because some of the bosses that we face is just so hard with 3 characters.
Yeah, so you're going to see something cool here. So the encounter rate, it resets basically whenever you visit another screen. And it turns out the title screen actually counts as another screen. So Sanjan is going to do a save right there, going to exit to menu, load right back in, and that's going to set the step counter back to 0, and is going to enable the run to Everhold a little bit much safer than trying to get it the other way.
Originally you would have probably seen it said West Everhold Pass, danger level 45. If Sanjay gets an encounter here, it'll be an absolute massacre. So that's why evasive maneuvers is just so crucial to making this run possible.
Yeah, even with that save there, you could still have a chance to get an encounter. It's kind of rare though.
Yeah. The nice thing is doing the exploration early is our characters are very underpowered. So when you do get that chance encounter, like it's bound to happen at some point, you wipe your party very, very quickly when they're this low level. If we came here after getting some levels and getting some gear, it would just take much longer to get out of that encounter. So it's easier just to do it right at the start of the game.
Yeah, so we'll be heading to the Shrine of the Runeblade here. It's a place where you can find one of the secret bosses,
Yeah,
but we're not going to be doing that. It just happens to have a place with lots of money, and we like money.
I thought we were going to get the Rune Lord job. What do you mean?
I mean, you could with some cheese, but unfortunately, it would take us a long time to get said cheese needed.
Delicious cheese.
I love cheese.
But yeah, you can just see here the power of Eye for Money. So if you look in the top left of your screen, you're going to see Tressa pick up a pretty good chunk of money left on the floor there. So an extra 3,000 leaves. And then the chest in here is going to give 50,000 leaves. So once you're in these later game areas, money kind of flows pretty easily. So we're going to be visiting a couple of different areas that you can get these big money chests.
All right, so now that we've grabbed the money, now we're going to go kind of take another little long road to Therion. I have to be careful with my soul stones here, because for Therion, of course, we'll be using a soul stone to take care of his Chapter 1 boss pretty easily. So these this walk is notorious for lots of encounters that can just like waste a lot of your time, and I basically only have like 1 spare soul stone that I can use. So I do have to be mindful.
Yes.
But I think for swag, I'll try to flee from them.
So yeah, after being in those high-level areas, we moved back to Ring 1. Encounters here are not deadly. They just love to waste a ton of time because you either have to flee with them or clear them, both of which are very slow.
We do still have a few charges left of that guy in the back there with the flurry.
Yeah,
Good.
technically I can, if Primrose is first, I can hope for flurry and it won't be too slow. But hopefully the solution is to, I was gonna say not get encounters.
We're 0 for 3 so far.
Apparently so, I'm fleeing. Aww.
Should have used the Soul Stone.
And I'm too stubborn to use the soul stone. I'm committed.
So yeah, you get into this mindset now where your flee chance does go up as you fail fleas, and the 4th flea is guaranteed. So as Sanjan is failing these fleas, the chance to flee is getting higher and higher and higher, and eventually it does become free.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate, but it only wastes you time. Like, you don't die or anything, you're just sitting there pretty annoyed. These screens just have lots of encounters, so like I personally prefer to use the Soul Stone on the screen just before we enter Boulder Fall. But
Yeah.
at least you get to listen to the really nice music.
Oh yeah, the music in this game is just absolutely fantastic.
That's 1 for 3.
Yeah, hopefully 2 for 3?
This one's pretty rare to not get the
Yeah.
fight right at the end, but it's always good to see when you do.
Yeah, we do have some community members that actually plotted out like every single like story.
Hey, 2 for 3.
Yeah, we have some community members that plotted out all of these runs and actually calculated what the encounter probability was. So shout outs to Zero and Lost Core for putting in the work doing that.
Alright, so now we're gonna grab the area on our local neighborhood, you know, like a very edgy thief. He's gonna be very useful because he has the ability to kind of loot purple chests, which often have like really good loot, and he has the ability Armor Corrosive, which allows you to basically allows physical attacks to do more damage or multiple more damage. So if you use Armor Corrosive, enemies take 1.5 times more physical damage. The majority of our damage will be pretty much physical damage. So
Yeah,
since I have a spare soul stone, I will be taking a swag move and I'll be throwing it at them. Normally, normally like if I didn't have a spare soul stone, I would just pretty much save and reload here.
Yeah, so the danger level kind of carries over between these two screens. It's the house dungeons are unique in that way.
Yeah, any screen with the same name, it does not reset your encounter rate. Whereas when Sanjan was moving throughout the world, all of those screens had unique names. Yeah, going into Heathcote here. Heathcote's a cool boss.
Yeah, normally you throw soul stones here, but
He hops from side to side.
I only have one light, so I do need to break him and do a little bit of extra damage.
Yeah, luckily our character's damage profiles at this point, every single character can take shields off of Heathcote. He has very convenient weaknesses. So breaking him is really not that big of a deal, and it doesn't take too much extra time.
I'm gonna see if I can. Nah, I don't think I can get a free steal. Ideally, I would want a free steal for more soul stones.
Yeah,
Actually, no. Yeah, I'll have time for a free steal, I guess. Why not?
Yeah, so Heathcote has an energizing pomegranate medium here. It's very good to have an extra one of those in case backup strats are needed on later bosses.
Yeah, you can basically get like a decent amount of pomegranates, which boost your BP. Oh, bye, guard. I guess we used the guard too much. He did do work though.
Yeah, he does have a set amount of charges. It is a range when you do allure him, so we made sure that had enough charges for what we needed for, and now he is off back to Atlas Dam.
Thanks, guard. You did your job. You pressed flurry, and that's more than I can say in most of my other runs. All right, so now that we have our 4th character, we can basically go on to pretty much do the remaining chapters here. And as we stated earlier, Prim basically just has like a bunch of kind of like intertwining exploration sections, because pretty much immediately after the end of each of the chapters, we can pretty much do like a little mini exploration set and grab more money. So we're basically just gonna be walking over to the chapter 2 town. So if you have something to say, feel free.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of donations right now. We just got $15 from Shill saying, "Hey Sanjan, wishing you the best of luck during the Octopath run. Super awesome to see you showing off this amazing game. Keep up the great work. Any Alphin love in chat?"
Ooh.
We got $25 from Kirby Master. "Spout all the pretty words you like. You know the truth. She will never again know the happiness she once did. Why do you rob your sister of the hope I offer her? What else does she have but that futile wish?" Donation goes to Sanjan's choice.
Put it towards the Coder 2 glitch incentive.
Shoutouts to Matthias Dialogue.
Matthias dialogue is the best. Okay, so now that we're in the Chapter 2 town, we have you guessed it, more RNG scrutinizes that we have to get.
Yeah, so we're actually into Primrose's Chapter 2 town. This is a very convenient location to be. So by scrutinizing this NPC right here, we get additional wares in the shop, notably these empowering rings. So empowering rings is an accessory that's going to increase our character's base HP by 250, and we can equip 2 of them onto each character. So right now our characters are pretty squishy, and it's effectively going to double their HP pool from what they have right now. Sanjan getting really lucky with the scrutinizes right there. They can troll you quite a bit.
Yeah, if you had to, if you failed to scrutinize, you basically would have to reload your save, which would be very unfortunate. So basically, kind of story-wise, Primrose is in a town where like the right-handed or the left tattooed man was, and she's trying to basically get into his hideout for revenge. I'm gonna say revenge a lot.
You should hit plus to get the lore.
I already kind of skipped it.
Yeah, we don't need the lore.
If there's a dialogue with Tressa and Primrose before that was really hilarious, but
Yeah.
We'll let you experience it for yourself when you play this game.
Exactly.
Primrose's Chapter 2 we have to be a little bit succinct on because the story is a little PG-13.
This is a family-friendly stream.
But anyway, there's she's gonna go find her father's murderer real quick, and yeah,
That's completely okay.
yeah.
I mean, you can basically sum up Primrose's entire story with one word: revenge. So I mean, you know.
Yeah. Moving into the secret path, this is an encounterless screen. There is a lore break halfway through that is going to reset the encounter rate, and then Sanjan's going to set up the biggest menu in the run coming up. So again, all of our characters, like I mentioned, are going to get equipped with 2 of those empowering rings, which is going to effectively double their HP. When they get those empowering rings put on, only their max HP goes up. Their current HP does not. So she also has to heal up all the characters, and she picked up a spiked vest there, which is going to go on to Primrose, and it's going to increase her defense pretty considerably because she currently has like no armor on. She's also going to do the job switches, getting Hired Help, which is going to be our main damaging ability, Armor Corrosive onto the Thief class, which is going to be the big debuff that's going to help us do damage, and then finally heal up the class.
We also switched Primrose to Warrior to give her access to the Spearhead ability that it does 1 hit of damage with the Spear weapon type and moves her to the front of the turn, which is going to be important for the next fight.
That was a pretty good menu.
Yeah, that was clean.
Yeah.
So this is Rufus. This is a left-handed man. See the raven tattoo on his left hand?
On his giant bicep.
Oh, nice turn order. So we just basically make sure that he doesn't get a turn on turn 2. And I'm just going to do this real quick.
Yeah, again, all that gear just kind of set it up so this is a fairly safe Chapter 2 fight. We're really not at the point that our power level is like too low, so him and his ads don't really deal too much damage, but Sanjan's going to go for a break right here and then finish everything off pretty cleanly.
Notably, she uses the lowest Hired Help skill, which is called Mercenary. It does very weak sword damage, but also cast a defense increase on the whole party.
I love pay to win.
So here's Veteran Soldier.
It's pretty good.
That was a good damage roll.
That actually is a range.
Yeah.
I think Sanjan's had really good RNG this run, hitting a lot of the scrutinizes and the damage range.
Don't jinx it. There's still 2 more chapters to go. So that's the end of Chapter 2. We're going to grab this lady here for some help on the Chapter 3 boss. 96% of allure chance. I have failed it.
Yes, we all have, I think.
Yeah, and again, just Primrose's exploration, it flows very well. Finishing off the Still Snow chapter, going to be heading into the Maw of the Ice Dragon and picking up a 30k chest as well as an adamantine hat, which we're going to sell for some more money. Primrose is notoriously money hungry, and she needs a lot of it to be able to finish her story off.
Yeah, you pretty much need, like, so for the final boss, it's basically 2 final bosses that we have to face. The first one is really bad. The second one's not as bad, but can still go, like, really wrong.
There's a lot of HP to chunk through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got some lore break here. If you have anything you wanna talk about.
Oh, absolutely. We got $70 from Pessilist saying, $10 for every death, I think, in my run as promised. Thanks to the organizers for all they do, and GLHF to the rest of the runners. And we got $220 from Altabiscuit saying, shoutouts to one of my favorite speedrun communities. It's amazing to see how far the game has progressed over the years. Good luck, Sanjan. Hope Simeon plays nice.
Hopefully so.
We just saw Simeon right there. Shout outs to him. Real
Yeah,
swell guy.
He's a totally innocent person. Like, he's just a guy.
Yeah, no big deal.
So we're going to teach you a couple extra skills here. So I'm going to teach Cyrus. So I'm going to give Warrior to Cyrus, which he's going to keep for the rest of the run here. Unfortunately, Warrior in here basically it's basically kind of like cannon fodder. Sorry, Cyrus.
So similar to evasive maneuvers on Scholar, the first support skill that you learn with
my
Warrior
God.
is called Cover, which is it's a cover ability. You will take damage for anybody who is in low HP and is about to get hit.
Yeah, and at this point, Cyrus is kind of our least useful extra character. So Primrose is kind of our tank at this point, and then we need Tressa and Therian to deal damage. So Cyrus is kind of gets to be the odd man out, and he has to be on the warrior class.
Yeah, we're basically just gonna let him get killed a lot, I think.
Yeah, even then, like, cutting Cyrus out isn't the greatest idea since we need, like, so much. So I'm going to do, like, kind of a little extra thing there. I went to the screen and back so that when I kind of, like, load my autosave, I'll be in that exact same room and I'll save a couple steps. Because this room is pretty far and we have to grab a couple extra things.
Yeah, this is a pretty notoriously unsafe screen. An encounter here, it either will waste a ton of time or it will just kill you. So both of those are not great.
Yeah, I basically, like, good runners will basically try to, like, make their steps the most efficient as possible. Let's see, can I make it? Nice.
Yes.
So this is Albus. He's the right-handed man.
He hits hard.
Yeah, he hits really hard. He'll probably kill someone, but we basically, that's why we taught Shackleful on Therion, and
So
we're basically going to use kind of Shackleful and Mercs to size him up.
So Cyrus is gonna take a fall for us. We taught him the ability Insight, which kind of makes the enemies only attack him. He could have survived that hit if we had had Shackleful or Mercenaries up, but we're just gonna have to get him back.
Yeah, so you see here, Albus is just he hits really, really hard with physical damage. Even with having the attack damage debuff on him and the armor buff on our characters, he can still basically one-shot our characters.
Oh, that's a good spawn. All right, want to hit everything, Primrose?
Oh,
Nice.
It's fine, it's fine.
Clutch. And then we're basically just need to throw 2 vets and 2 soul stones.
yeah. I think the real optimization that came from the Primrose route is the one merchant route. So if you like watched single stories 2 years ago, you would notice that every single one of them got the merchant shrine that would have 2 merchants in their party. But it turns out that Primrose's story is actually faster to skip that merchant shrine, and you just do everything with Tressa.
So this is a very rare damage range. And if you don't hit it, it's basically game over, but we got it.
Yeah, he will wipe the party if he comes out of that break.
So that's chapter 3 done. There's going to be a lot of cutscenes. Basically, TLDR after she gets her revenge on the right-handed man. The random guy, white-haired guy, Simeon, goes and stabs her, and now she has to go to Everhold to, of course, get revenge on him.
Yeah, he's the one who actually, I think, was holding the knife in question when her father was murdered. So he's going to be our final boss twice.
Yeah, Primrose is actually a secret noble, but I guess her history was hidden from her entire life, and we're kind of discovering that. It turns out Simeon is not a great guy. He betrayed their family.
Yeah, they used to kind
Go
of
to
rule
purgation.
noble court, if I believe so, and then Simeon and his folks took over.
Sanjan, did you go to purgation?
I did. It's on these notes in giant red letters.
Yeah, that's the purgation.
Yeah, so one of the things that Therian gets access to is the purple chests. So we do wait until after picking up Therian to do that exploration into the forest to Purg. And it's going to enable us to pick up the Forbidden Dagger, which we can sell for some more money, because we, again, need a lot of money.
So I grabbed that for some extra money. I do intentionally grab extra money just so that we can get some safety stones here. Typically, I would buy, like, in an actual run, like, the wind stones, but I buy the fire stones for, like, backup.
Yeah, these upcoming final fights can go a number of different ways, so you always want to be prepared for every scenario possible, and sometimes that includes grabbing extra items in advance that you might not need in a perfect world.
Yeah, so I have some collection here, so I think we have maybe just a little bit of a break if you have something you want to talk about.
Yeah, there's going to be, like, quite a decent amount of, like, money that we need to get, since we need to get a total of around 150,000 leaves for everything, and thankfully there's also a lot of money here. So I'm just going to do, like, a giant sell menu here to sell everything. And I should be around, I think, 126,000. Yeah, that's fine.
Exactly 126,000.
I think you can go as low as 125 or, like, 123, but
You do.
better safe than sorry.
Yeah, you do want a little bit of a buffer because there are patterns on the final boss that you do have to throw some extra money using the hired help dancers, which is only used because of the dagger weakness.
All right, I'm going to go for the swag run again. So there's a 20k that I can get here, and then I'll be off to the next room.
Sounds spooky.
It's a little spooky. You tend to get encounters in there, but when you don't get encounters, it's swag. It's not a big deal even if you die here, because you tend to die pretty fast. But let's see, we get it.
Oh, sad.
Oh, these guys are slow to kill me. Let's see, Cyrus first? Let's see if I can do the swag breaks. I don't know what the curator is weak to. I think he's weak to bow.
Spear.
I want to say it's spear and bow, but
Yeah. Spear for
Don't.
sure, maybe bow.
All right, let's see if Tressa can hit. I think he's weak to staff too. No.
Yeah, part of Octopath is like
Nice.
nice.
knowing what these various packs are weak to, and this is not a very common one to actually wind up breaking.
Yeah, I never go for this screen, so I don't know. I have no clue what any of these guys are weak to.
All right, so
Cyrus
let me
does
heal up
reveal.
here.
Cyrus does reveal one from each enemy for free, so you at least have that.
So I do need to do some extra menus here. The only menu I need to do here is to give a Baryon a fleet foot and an incidental attack. I also need to give Cyrus a cover here, because it'll be pretty useful. So there's only a few more items we need to get. We basically throw a whole bunch of events, because this is the infamous Simeon boss. It's in two parts. The first part is really bad because it's very easy to die. Even with all the HP boosting items we grabbed, it's just basically not enough. Like if we don't get ideal RNG.
This is the only boss of the game that's like this too. That's why it's so irritating. The fact that you have to fight him twice back to back.
So thankfully there's a lot of items here. We're also grabbing the Revitalizing Jam here, which is basically kind of like a full restore in Pokemon terms. It restores your SP or BP and HP. It's mostly used here for restoring HP. And pretty sure I did buy the Clamor, so I should be okay.
Yep, I saw it.
Yeah, very
I'm just going
important.
to save here just so I don't have to keep walking back. And now hopefully maybe you'll see why this fight is really bad.
3 cutscenes to start here as well.
And Simeon is not a fun boss to go up against at this point in the game.
So what we want to see here is Therion first, but that's the absolute.
Speed's fake though.
Yeah, speed's not real. If I see sweep, I'm dead.
Yeah,
That's actually also really bad, because
yeah.
I need.
If he goes
it's
first?
Cyrus goes first. Okay.
Okay, cool. We're in business.
That's that might work. Okay, that definitely works.
Speed isn't fake after all.
Yeah, definitely for like an inexperienced prim runner, like you don't know these backups.
Yeah,
Learning these backups is absolutely critical to getting in a good time.
So right there, Sanjan did have like an RNG coin flip. So Cyrus died before taking his action, and his role in this fight is to knock 2 shields off these front puppets. But then by reviving him, you get RNG'd into where he goes in the next turn order. Since he went before the puppets, he's able to do his what would normally be a turn 1 action on turn 2, and Sanjan can back up the fight from there. Yeah, this should be really clean Simeon 1.
Yeah, this is a pretty smooth Simeon 1.
He has a lot of HP, and the puppets have a ton of HP. But once you knock down the 2 adds, Simeon on his own is pretty weak at this point in the fight.
I'm just gonna take the safe way and just wait on Tress's BP. Simeon's kind of doesn't do anything.
You have to AC again?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So to end this fight, I just need to throw 2 more M stones. And then vets with Tressa.
Yeah, kind of the hard part about the single merchant route is your turn economy is just a little bit tighter than if you were doing the double merchant route. So you have to do a little bit of finagling to make sure that you get your kill on these bosses.
Alright, and then 1 more M stone should do it. So I intentionally stole the L stone with Theron because we always get an additional L stone after. And for Simeon, we need a minimum total of 4 L stones because we're only going to use 3 vets. Yeah. And then this is the other hard part. It's not as bad, but if I get bad RNG on turn orders, I basically have to do Simeon 1 again. So hopefully I get a decent turn order.
That's okay.
So that's okay. That's not ideal, but someone will survive at least the first attack because someone's guaranteed to die.
Yeah. And it was Primrose. Classic.
So I'm not going to do this, and then Insight here is useful so that Prim doesn't die again.
Yeah, so this is like one of the bosses that does have some skill expression
Oh, I got
as well.
lucky on turn order.
Yeah, so Sanjan's paying attention to turn order on all the characters as well as BP on all the characters.
And our money at this point as well because
yeah.
you just spent 25 extra dollars there.
Yeah, it should be fine though.
Yeah, you really have to pay attention to what resources you have available to be able to break Simeon in a convenient turn. And then once you get through the first break, it's basically scripted from that point onward.
So I can get the quick kill here. So pretty much from here, like as long as I don't mess up my menuing, it's basically free. So I do need the rev jam here.
Yeah, so we're gonna dump some boost points into Tressa so you can get a full set of 4 veterans off again. And also be able to get another set of 4 by the next time we break him.
And then I'm going to throw a couple soul stones. Yep. So you don't need the M stone there. That's just for like my personal safety. But Simeon doesn't really do everything after unbreaking just because he just kind of just sits there and silences.
So yeah, he does silence the entire party, which would be an annoyance, but we luckily bought the Herbs of Clamor, which is a mistake that you can definitely make in this run and forget to buy those. You do need to get Tressa cleared of silence so she's able to use hired help veterans and finish off the fight.
So time's kind of very soon here. It's going to be after the first kind of cutscene here kind of clears because she only has 1 cutscene before we enter the credits. So get ready on time. This is a very smooth run.
Yeah,
wow.
That was excellent.
That's like a ridiculously clean Primrose run.
And that's Simeon. All right, so time's coming up very soon, and time.
45:51. That's insane.
Wow.
For a marathon run, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a really good run. So thanks for having me. Thanks to the Octopath community for coming out and support, and thanks to my commentators Sunny and Bramhall for really good commentary. There's a lot of categories in Octopath, and the community is extremely supportive of any new person, and we have actually a decent amount of guides to help any new runner. I personally authored the Ophelia single story guide, which is like a very good beginner category for those looking to get into their first speedrun. And there's just a lot of categories for everyone. The longer categories are also really fun, and then the short categories are also like really fun as well. So yeah, big shout out to the community, big shout out to my commentators, also big shout outs to everyone that donated for both the language bid war and the character bid war. Y'all are MVPs. And then also big thanks to RPG Limit Break for having me as well. Really glad to be showing off both Mass Effect and Octopath in the marathon. And then I don't have anything else. Maybe my couch has something?
Bagel bites.
Pizza rolls.
Bagel bites. Yeah, but thank you so much for watching the run and having me. And yeah, that's it.
Hey, thanks for that great run, Sanjan. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a minute. Hello, everyone. I'm still Rujasu, and we're heading over to a staff interview here with our wonderful RPG Limit Break staff. So, yeah.
So you kind of got a preview of who was on screen before we got to talk. Hello, everyone. I'm Kizaron, and I am joined by Ashen Prime and HeroicSpiritGamer, two of the most words that I can't use on a PG stream people on the planet. Super duper awesome to have you both up here. I want everyone at home to understand the responsibilities of putting together an event like this. So we'll start with you. Well, first off, what do you even do here?
Well, officially, I'm the head of audio, but that has included basically the systems engineer. I first got most of the equipment here, and then started plugging it all in and making sure that cable A went to slot B. But then also inside of that, we have a lot of like virtual routing and such as well. So diving into all the software of that and making sure that this thing is sending the correct video signals over here, and that thing is sending the correct audio signals over there, and they aren't interfering with each other. So a lot of cable routing, a lot of network management, and just knowing all of our equipment well enough to understand how they need to talk to each other.
And to kind of emphasize a little bit more on the whole cable management and everything, it's off camera, but like a few yards this direction for us, you see 1 million monitors, not even that much of an exaggeration, about 400 pounds of cables, probably not an exaggeration, and then a wonderful crew working tirelessly to make sure this event's going on. But speaking of working tirelessly, what do you do, Gamer?
Oh, what don't I do, fucking honestly? So at this point, I am the tech director, I'm the volunteer director. I kind of deal with buying our equipment and monitoring to some degree like our finances to make sure we have the funds to do that. I'm one of the primary hotel liaisons, so I've dealt with a lot with the coordinating with the hotel part of the event. I could probably keep finding reasons to keep saying titles that I do at this point.
So okay, let's make it a little easier. What don't you do?
Games committee. I do not.
So there is one thing
There
that
is,
you actually
there is
okay.
actually one thing I
okay.
don't do. Yes, I definitely do not. I'm not involved in the game selection.
Now, obviously, everyone at home has probably noticed by now if you've been watching the event, this is a hybrid event. We have on-site and we also have remote runners from home showing off awesome runs. What kind of challenges has that presented for what traditionally used to be just purely on-site?
Yeah. Well, there's been a couple. One of the trickiest bits about hybrid is that you don't want there to be too much latency between the people on-site and the people off-site. Because we'll have not just like hybrid runs with some runners here, some runners virtual, but we also have hybrid commentary teams, remote commentators. We have on-site commentators commenting for remote runs. And they want to be able to see those runs and react to them in as close to real time as possible. So researching and finding the correct solutions to be able to do that. And then it's so interesting. The hybrid setup is a different mindset than the on-site. Because on-site, we can plug in a cable, and if it doesn't work, we check and make sure all the cables are plugged in.
Sure.
With the hybrid stuff, the runner at home plugs in the cable, and then it starts to virtualize, and they have to send it to us over the internet, and then it gets to us, and then we have to send it virtually over the network to everything, and it's just a very different bottle of fish. Bottle of fish? That's not correct.
I don't know.
But anyway.
We're using that from now on. That's a new term.
Sweet.
Bottle of fish.
Bottle of fish. We're in Zelda now. But it's a very different thing to think about, and a very different way to understand how your signals are getting where they're going when it's all kind of this nebulous, it's on the network type thing.
Now, on your end, since you have to deal with pretty much everything else, how has having a hybrid event kind of affected your job structure, I guess, for lack of better words, if any?
So I wasn't even the tech director prior to this event, so I was already or a volunteer director, or pretty much any of the titles that I listed off. There are pretty much all new titles for me for this event. So there's just been a lot going on in general. We had a pretty concentrated effort to upgrade our on-site equipment as a post-mortem for our 2019 event. And that's gone swimmingly. We've had almost no issues with our on-site stuff. But remote, honestly, Ashton here being local and being our systems engineer and doing everything on-site and actually getting to have his hands on everything, I had no choice really but to just leave it in his hands and try to figure out a solution, because I'm not from around here whatsoever. I have to fly in, and so I had to just kind of put my faith in him to figure out a solution. So I didn't have too much of a hand in it aside from testing and hoping what little testing we did on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I can build on that a little bit,
Sure.
we went from in 2019 we had one computer and one soundboard, and that did basically everything we need. Now we have 3 computers over there to do
4.
those. We 4 computers over there at this
I
point.
thought.
We have multiple.
There's
computers
like
over
20 computers over there. So
there. Yeah. The point being that Gamer couldn't just build those at his house and then fly over with them, so he shipped them all here, which meant that I had the pleasure to get to actually build them all. It's a fun thing to just build 7 computers that you don't have to pay for. It's great. But yeah, so because I'm local, it was best to ship them here, have me build them, and then do all the testing with them and figure out how it all worked. And so one of the fun challenges for me was making sure I wrote that all down so that how it works isn't just stuck in here. Other people can do it, especially
Yeah.
because we can't be awake all the day, but also just, things happen sometimes, and then you're just not here anymore, and because you have to,
Sleep.
or isolate or whatever.
Sleep's overrated. I'm going to ask you two one quick question, and we're going to wrap it up. We always talk about how we put together these marathons. We talk about speedruns and all that stuff, but we never talk too much about behind the scenes besides these kind of interviews. What is probably your favorite moment of the marathon so far that wasn't run related? Ooh, I'm making you two think. Do.
So the nope, I've forgotten the name of the game, and I apologize to the runners, but we had the 4-person co-op race, and the communication that we had between us and in our internal communications and also in person to figure out how do we make that look good, and coming up with one solution. It's like that's almost there, and then coming up with another solution a little bit here, coming up, and then finally landing on the correct solution there, which was mostly Hoishin at that point.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
just that moment where it's like, okay, this is I think what's going to look right, and we all looked at it and it's like, yes, absolutely that. That was a big one for me. I felt that was just this is how it works when you're all collaborating together.
As for me, I don't know if I really have a strong answer here because I do so much in, of course, the beginning of the marathons where a bulk of things happen. So I've pretty much lived, not even an exaggeration, lived behind this tech station since.
I'm pretty sure I've seen you outside of this room like twice.
Yeah.
In like the entire like.
Yes,
week, so.
I've spent like an hour in a practice room once this whole event. Otherwise, I've just been here or sleeping or eating. So I'm more looking forward to, now that things are settling down, we're getting a kind of in a groove, what I can actually do the rest of the event. It's not just this.
Now, real quick, before I send you all to the front, I want to remind you about some of our awesome prizes. So if you do a $5 minimum donation, you enter for an iron-on patch from Kingdom Hearts. Now, I don't have it in front of me, but what I do have are these 2 super duper cute Sora and Riku plushies, which are $10 minimum donations. So if you like cute stuff, and if you like seeing me struggle putting them back on this easel, you know what? they're just here now. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Thanks so much for delving into the fun but stressful world of putting together an event. And we're going to send it back up to the front. So see you all later.
Hello.